title of this video. Today we're talking about how I won the Mandela Rhodes Foundation Scholarship and how you too can be a Mandela Rhodes Scholar in the near future. So I'd first like to start with apologizing because this video is a bit late. The applications for the MRF scholarship for the 2023 cohort closed on the 22nd of April. I was very busy and preoccupied, so I couldn't get around to submitting this video before then, but I really believe that this will be helpful for future applicants and even those that applied this year, because I'll be dropping some interview tips and what you can expect from the interview, as well as what happens between the time you submitted your application and when you should expect to receive a response. So, for those of you who don't know, the MRF scholarship is one of the prestigious scholarships for African students to study in any university in South Africa for postgraduate studies. So you can do an honors degree or a master's degree in any field. The 2022 cohort, which I am a part of, has scholars who are studying accounting and social sciences, migration like myself. Others are medical doctors furthering their studies in South Africa. So it really affords you an opportunity to do whatever it is you want. I had a question from someone recently who was like, what type of courses do they fund? There is no type of courses, a particular preference, like I just displayed from all the different courses that current applicant scholars are studying. So don't try and choose a course that you think the MRF will fund or that you think aligns with the scholarship. The scholarship is very generous. They really cover everything from tuition to book allowance and like computer allowances, as well as living expenses and all of the things you'll need to live quite comfortably whilst you're in South Africa. They pay it all into your personal account, so there's no middleman. You manage your funds, which I think really is daunting, but it gives you the independence that you might require. Another thing, once you apply, you're expected to submit a motivational letter as well as an essay in response to the essay topic that they'll provide you with. I don't know if the essay topics change every year, but our essay topic was about a polarizing event in our communities and in our lives, and how we think we can bring those polarized groups together, or what we think should be done. What you will notice about the essay topic, and I think that is what, even if the essay topic changes year after year, a lot of the essay topics and interview questions are focused on the principles of the scholarship, which are reconciliation, leadership, entrepreneurship, and education. If you identify with any of those four principles, you are the ideal MRF scholar. The interview questions are also very much based off of those three principles and how you identify with each of them. You don't have to identify with all of them. For example, the entrepreneurship principle, I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't currently have a desire to run and start my own business, but I find that I would identify with the education principle, the reconciliation, as well as the leadership aspect of it. So don't feel like you have to encompass all the four principles to be the perfect candidate. So my essay I mentioned was about a polarizing event. I submitted that, and also motivational essays I think are very standard. Make sure you tell them about yourself. Don't repeat your CV, but enhance what is already on your CV and the skills that you have. The scholarship is for, one of the requirements is particularly having an average of 70% or more in your undergraduate degree. So that, I believe, is a non-negotiable. You have to have obtained that mark in your undergrad, and you don't have to have been accepted by a university by the time you submit your application. But the sooner you apply for your university, the better. It really saves you a lot of time and delay in the long run. An important aspect that I wanted to share that I saw a lot of current scholars having difficulty with is the SAQA accreditation. So SAQA, I believe, is the South African Qualification Accreditation Agency. I'm not sure what the abbreviation stands for, but if you have an undergraduate degree or any other degree that you completed outside of South Africa, it has to be accredited to make sure that you've met the minimum requirements to qualify for a South African honors or master's degree. You have to pay out of pocket for that, and I believe it's quite pricey. So if you know you want to apply for the scholarship and you know you want to study at a South African university, save up well in advance, because it can be quite pricey to have the accreditation done. And also it's important to do the accreditation well in advance, because I've heard from other scholars who studied outside of South Africa first and then studied here, I've heard that they had massive delays with getting accepted to their courses because SAQA took long to accredit them. You might get provisional acceptance pending your SAQA, pending SAQA approving you, but then the final acceptance really depends on getting that SAQA accreditation, and it might take long, like months long. So it's good to get it well in advance, because you don't want to not be able to be funded by the scholarship and not be accepted to a university because you're waiting for this accreditation. Or sometimes you might not be able to study the course you desire, such as a master's degree, because SAQA has not accredited you on time, so you might just end up doing an honors, whereas you probably would have qualified for a master's. So that's a big hurdle that I think if you're outside of South Africa, please try and sort out ASAP. So what was very interesting for me during the application waiting process was the elimination rounds. So after you submit your application, I believe there are 4 rounds that you might be eliminated, and if you make it through all 4, you get to the interview stage. So each month, for 4 months, you will be waiting for an email from MRF letting you know whether you've made the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round. And so they're really cutting down the numbers and looking through the applications, sifting through the strong ones and the not so strong ones. It's a very, very thorough process. So in that period, just stay calm, check your emails, don't be too frantic about it. I think every time, like around the 1st of each month, I would check my emails frantically. And if it was like the 2nd and I didn't get an email, the 2nd of the month and I didn't get an email, I would panic and I'm like, I didn't get the scholarship. It's all over. But just be patient. I'm sure if you're interested in applying and you've put out the best application you could possibly, I'm sure you will get through all those rounds. So there's 4 rounds of selection, and they cut the numbers down, and then about 60 of us were selected to do the interviews. And the interviews are usually a panel of interviewers. There's a panel of 4, I believe in my case there were 4. But what's so unique about the MRF is that they really make you comfortable. They really do their best to make you feel comfortable and to make you feel like you're in a safe space, and to make you feel like you're important and what you have to say is important. They even have, because under normal circumstances, interviews are conducted in Cape Town at Mandela's home. But for our cohort, due to COVID, we couldn't do the interviews and go to Cape Town, and they would ordinarily fly you down and you would meet all the other people going for the interviews. But ours was on Zoom, but I think they did try to really introduce us to each other, see the other interviewees, and really be like, oh my gosh, this person is really amazing and super confident. There is no way I'm gonna get the scholarship. I think seeing the other scholars really and reading their bios makes you so nervous, and makes you question like if they didn't get you in by mistake, or if you're really deserving of it. So the interviews were 4 panels, a panel of 4, and I was interviewed by 2 previous MRF scholars, one who was employed by the MRF, and the CEO of the MRF, and Justice Yvonne Mokgoro. So because I'm a law graduate, when I saw Justice Yvonne Mokgoro's name on the panel list, I panicked. I was like, this is hectic. An entire former justice of the Constitutional Court is going to interview me. And this was before I had done my Constitutional Court interview, so I was so nervous. And also my area of interest and area of study, Justice Mokgoro had written she had written a Constitutional Court judgment on the right of refugees and their access to social security, and she had written a number of journal articles. So I was nervous that she was going to ask me some technical legal questions. That's what I was prepared for, and I was pleasantly surprised. Everyone on the panel honestly was very kind. They smiled. They asked very challenging questions. To date, the MRF interview was the most difficult interview I've ever had. They don't ask you, they do ask you to tell me about yourself, but they really question the way you think as a person and question your inherent prejudices. Like, the questions will make you think about the way you think of others. And the intention is really to draw out who you truly are. And it's difficult because you want to share your opinion, but you don't want to seem biased or just like you don't like a particular group of people. Like, it really makes you question your I don't even know. It was so difficult. I can't even put it into words. And after that interview, I was like, I didn't get the scholarship. I knew for a fact. I'm like, it was difficult. I was sweating bullets. I was so sure I didn't get the scholarship after that interview. And yeah, I had given up. I was like, it is what it is. I will look for some other stuff. It's fine. And I got a call shortly after saying that I got the scholarship. I was so ecstatic. I couldn't believe it because I had honestly written it off. Without a shadow of doubt, I knew I didn't get it. And to have gotten the scholarship, it was so, I couldn't explain. It's like one of the happiest days of my life. I was very happy. I felt, especially, when it's such a tough process, like 4 rounds of elimination, interviews with a panel, being asked these really challenging questions and still making it out on the other side. It really made me feel like I had achieved something. So 60 people, like I said, were interviewed, and then they cut it down to 30 scholars. And I mean, all the scholars that we've met and like who are in our cohort are so brilliant. They do so much for their communities, and it's so inspiring seeing what everyone's interests are and how everyone is not self-absorbed, and it's not about let me do this so I can propel myself in my career. It's about let me do this so I can help others. And by saying that, I don't want anyone to feel like in order to be an MRF scholar, you have to be doing amazing things. You have to be running a business. You have to be the director of an NGO. It's good if you can and do those things if that's what you want and you are capable of doing that. But it's all about what you can do for your community, and your community could be your little suburb, your school, in your like your university space, in your workspace. What are you doing in your current environment to push Africa forward and to push others forward towards fulfilling their dreams and enhancing their lives? So yeah, please apply for the MRF scholarship. It's a life-changing experience. It's not like any other scholarship where they just fund you and give you all this money and they're silent. They are really intentional about building your leadership abilities. They're very intentional about enhancing the way you think of yourself and the world. They encourage critical debate. You don't necessarily have to be a Mandela fan to apply for the scholarship and to sing Mandela's praises to be deserving of the scholarship. If you have criticism about his leadership, that's what the scholarship is about. It's not about silencing your voice. It's about making sure your opinions are heard and are discussed, and it encourages debate. I mean, in one of our workshops, we were even discussing the legacy of Cecil John Rhodes and what his name being tied to Mandela's name means, and how we feel as scholars tying our names to his and to the Rhodes legacy. So we're encouraged to have these contentious discussions, these uncomfortable discussions, and it's really a safe place to grow. And it's also super fun being a scholar. I've always loved singing, and I'd sung in like school choirs before, but I've never sung on myself in front of people, like outside of my mom and like my boyfriend. So we had a karaoke night once with the MRF, and I sang on stage for the first time, and it was such a liberating and fun experience that I wouldn't have done without the MRF. So in as much as we work hard, we have serious conversations, we also have a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun being a scholar, and I hope you too will be a scholar, and I hope you're encouraged to apply. I hope your confidence in your application is boosted by hearing what I've had to say. And please feel free to drop any questions in the comments section if you have any, and yeah, let me know if you have any questions or any thoughts you'd like to share. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share.